Welcome to the online session of Arihant English Medium School, Solapur for the academic year 2020-21. I am Fauzan H. Azhari and today we are going to learn civics. Before starting the chapter, I would like to ask one question, my dear students. In our country, India, which type of government we have? Various governments, various you can say government agencies are there in the world, like we have dictatorship, anarchy, monarchy. Okay, so which kind of government system we have in India? So we have parliamentary system, and today we are going to learn more about the Indian parliamentary system. So our first chapter is Introduction to the Parliamentary System. In this chapter, we will learn the machinery or the system of government as given in the Indian Constitution. Yes, all of us we know that our country India runs on our Indian Constitution. A written constitution is there. Constitution is nothing but a book of laws, rules. Okay, so how our machinery functions, how our system works on this constitution, that we are going to study in this chapter. See here first. Have you thought of this? What is a parliamentary system of government? In India, we have Prime Minister, but why is there no Prime Minister in the United States of America? Or what is the difference between a parliamentary and a presidential system of government? So here few questions have been asked and we will get the answer in this chapter. See students, these questions would lead us to conclude that every country has a different form of government. To what conclusion we came from these questions? That each and every country has a different kind of government. Okay, kind of governments are there, form of government. Before we go ahead to understand different types of government systems, let us get information about the main branches of government. Yes, before we proceed, first we will see which are the various branches of government. The function of legislature is to make laws. The executive implements the law and the judiciary provides justice. So three main branches of government are there. Okay, legislature, executive and judiciary. What is the function? What is the work of legislature? It make laws. What is the function of executive? It implements the laws, bring into force. And what is the work or what is the function of judiciary? Yes, judiciary provides justice. So these are the functions of these three main branches of government. The functions of these organs, their jurisdiction and limitations on their power and the interrelationship between these organs are decided by the constitution. Yes, how they are going to work, what will be the coordination between them, all these things are there in our constitution. It is the nature of their interrelationship that determines the system of government adopted in a particular country. Yes, so in different country how it is adopted, what will be the interrelationship between them depends on that particular country how they are implementing it. There are two main types of government systems that are followed. Yes, if you take a review of the world, maximum you can say main two forms will be seen of government. First is parliamentary system and second is presidential system. First we will study what is parliamentary system of government. Pay attention here. The parliamentary system of government developed primarily in England. So students, where does it born, where does it started first? In England. The English constitution is an unwritten constitution. The governance is carried out in accordance with traditions and customs and conventions. The British Parliament is an institution that has evolved over a period of time. So this democratic form of government was first of all got its birth from England. It take place in England, but in England constitution is not a written constitution. How it works? It works according to the tradition and customs. Yes, dear students. The parliamentary system of government having its roots in parliament. Yes, as the name suggests, parliamentary system of government, its main roots, its main function takes place from the parliament, and it is considered as a contribution of England. So England started this parliamentary form of government. India has adopted this parliamentary system. Now, as we have more influence of England over us, as we know, they have ruled over us for more than 150 years, and they have started the parliamentary system in India too. So, because lot of influence was there of them, hence we too adopted the parliamentary system. We can see some broad similarities in the parliamentary system of England and the parliamentary system of India. Yes, dear students. So again, same reason, because of the influence both of our parliamentary system, many similarities can be seen. But when looked at an institutional level, the Indian parliamentary system is different in its content. From institutional point of view, from institutional level, its working out, coordination, if we see, then our parliamentary system differs. Let us understand the characteristics of the Indian parliamentary system of government in India. So now we are going to look various features, characteristics of Indian parliamentary system. Pay attention. The parliamentary system is a system of governance. The legislature of the central government is known as the parliament. The Indian parliament is composed of President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So what is there? First of all, in first point, what we have seen, parliamentary system is system of governance which is going to govern. The legislature of central government is known as parliament. Yes, legislature of central government where laws are made. So those are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And Indian parliament composed of three things: President, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. See, next point. Members of the Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. The number of members in the house is fixed. Yes, my dear students. So, there are a fixed number of members in Lok Sabha, and each member represents from a constituent assembly, and they are directly elected by the people. Yes, the members of Lok Sabha, they are directly elected by the people. They are the representative of that particular constituency. For example, we have our Solapur district. From our Solapur district, we elect one representative and send him to parliament, that is Lok Sabha. He will represent our constituent assembly. Solapur is one constituent assembly. So like that, fixed number of members are there in Lok Sabha. Next, elections to the Lok Sabha are held at regular intervals. Yes, fixed time is there. As we know, after every 5 years we have election, but in some reasons it may take place before or it may extend to a few months also. All political parties contest elections. The party which gets more than half of the seats is considered as the majority party. The majority party forms the government. So in India, we have the rights, we have freedom is there for all the political parties to contest election. And the party which will win more seats, more than half of the seats, they are offered to form the government. This is the procedure in our country. Sometimes when no party gets a clear majority, some parties come together to form a majority and they can establish the government. Yes, students, there is history in our country, many times had happened that not a single party got a clear majority. Means 2-3 parties are there, they have almost got approximate seats. So not a single party is getting more seats. So how the government is formed? So the government can be formed by coalition, that they may come together and form the government. Such government, this is a kind of government which is known as coalition government. In this way, candidates directly elected by people become members of the legislature and the party in majority gets a chance to form the government. Yes, students. So, candidates which directly elected by the people they become the member of this parliament, and because of this what happened, they get a chance to form the government. The leader of the majority party becomes the prime minister. He she selects candidate for ministerial positions from among his her colleagues. Suppose any xyz government, you can say party, wins the maximum seats, then that party will consider, they will elect among themselves one member as the prime minister of our country. So this is the, you can say, position, this is the thing in our country. The prime minister and the council of ministers chosen by the prime minister together forms the executive. Now next, what is the work of prime minister? He will select the council of ministers. Council of ministers, for every department we have one minister in our country, so he will select a team. So that team will work under prime minister, and both of them, they are known as executive in the parliamentary system of government. In parliamentary system, the executive has a dual responsibility. Dual means two responsibilities. First, as an executive, they have to implement laws. First of all, they should make laws in the parliament. Second, as they are the members of the legislature, they also have to fulfill responsibilities to the legislature. Yes, executive, what we have seen, yes, legislature, first of all, they will make laws, and executive to implement the laws. So both the responsibilities they have. As a member of legislature, they should fulfill all the responsibilities of the legislature also. So these are the dual responsibility of them. The prime minister and the council of ministers is responsible to the legislature for all their actions and policies. Yes, whatever action, policies that they will take, prime minister and council of ministers, they will be responsible to the legislature. It means that the council of ministers has to work with legislature. Yes, they have formed the government, that doesn't mean they can work on their own. Yes, they have to, you can say, take in confidence the legislature and talk with them, then they will take the decisions. It is for this reason that the parliamentary system is known as responsible system of government. Yes, my dear students, it is not like that they are working or functioning irresponsibly. There is a kind of responsibility, hence it is known as responsible system of government. Another distinct characteristics of the parliamentary system of government is collective responsibility. Yes, together they have a collective responsibility also. Decision taken by any minister or department is considered as decision of the government. I have told you, for different departments there is one minister. Any decision of any minister, that doesn't mean it will be his own decision. It will be the decision and responsibility of the whole government. The entire council of ministers is responsible for the decision. In the next two chapters, we will see with examples how the principle of collective responsibility is brought into practice. So that part in detail we will see in next chapters. In the parliamentary system, the executive is dependent upon the confidence of the legislature in them. Yes, dear students, all these, you can say, executive, on whom confidence they have depended about, on the confidence of legislature. This means that the council of ministers remains in power till it enjoys the support or confidence of the legislature. Legislature, full house, so they should get the support of them, then only they will last long till that time. If the legislature feels that the executive does not work in accordance to its wishes, it removes the executive from power by passing a no confidence motion against the executive. Yes, this ruling party and council of ministers, if other member of the party in the house, that is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, if they feel that this party is not working properly, and if a vote of no confidence is passed by more than 2/3 majority, then the government will be dissolved, it will be collapsed. No confidence motion is an effective tool of keeping a check over the executive. Yes, so there should be some pressure, then only the government will work smoothly. Yes or no? So this no confidence motion is a very effective tool, effective weapon, with the help of which the other members can keep a proper check on the executive, that whether they are working properly or no. In the parliamentary form of government, the legislature is a supreme institution. Yes, students. Whole parliamentary system, legislature is a very important institution. Elected representatives of people express demands and aspirations of common people in the parliament. I have told you, we have elected one representative from our constituent assembly and send him to Lok Sabha. Yes or no? Then he will represent our region, our constituent assembly. So what he is doing? He is the voice of this whole district. Yes or no? So these elected representatives, they are expressing the voice, the demands and aspirations of the common people in parliament. The parliament decides upon issues of public welfare. Since it is the house of representatives of people and expresses sovereign authority of the people, it is considered as a supreme body, because here all the representative of their particular and respective constituent assemblies are there. Hence it is known as the, it expresses sovereign authority of people, and it is also known as house of representatives of people. That's why it is considered as a supreme body. Now, next question. Why did India adopt a parliamentary system of government? Yes, dear students. See here. India adopted the parliamentary system of government for several reasons. There is not one reason. Many reasons are there that we are going to discuss now. The development of parliamentary institutions started during the British rule. I had told you, because for a long time British had ruled over us. So the seeds of parliamentary system were sown by the Britishers only in India from that point onwards. The British rulers governed in accordance with this system. Britishers were also, you can say, governing in India. Their administration was also there in India in the same system, the same way. That's why we have adopted it. The parliamentary system of government in India is also in a way a product of the freedom movement. Indians were familiar to this system of government. Many discussions took place in the Constituent Assembly over the system of government, because Indians were in contact with Britishers for many years. So we were knowing all this system from a very close view. That's why it was very easy for us to adopt this kind of system, so that we were very much familiar to it. The framers of the constitution made few changes in the parliamentary system to suit the Indian situation. Only the thing which we did were few changes that should be different from the Britishers and England, because we cannot apply exact the same rules which were there in Britishers in England. So some of them were changed according to our favorable things. Discussions and deliberations are an integral part of the parliamentary form of government. Yes, students, for every bill, for every drafting any bill, you have to do discussions. So discussions are there, deliberations are there. These things make our parliament more strong. Questions related to public welfare are discussed in the legislature. Yes, directly any bill is not made a law. First discussion takes place on it. You can say bills related to public welfare, public issue, a lot of discussion takes place on it. Then finally it is passed. So such is the system. Members from the opposition party also take part in these discussions. Yes, all the members. Opposition party may support the government wherever appropriate, point out shortcomings in policies and laws, put up studied arguments and questions, etc. This helps the legislature to work to make proper laws. Yes, the opposition party sometime it may support the government. If the law is very good, it is, you can say, appropriate for the people, favorable. But sometime if it is doesn't suit the welfare of the people, if it is not good, then opposition parties may revolt against it. They may ask for a discussion. They may take out the shortcomings in that bill and tell the government to make changes. In this way, what happens? The government will work properly. That's why all these things are very essential and important. Next, Now students, first system we have studied, two branches we were looking, parliamentary system and presidential system. Parliamentary system we seen up till here. Now next is presidential system of government. Okay, we will see what kind of system it is. Presidential system of government can be said to be another important system of government. Yes, it is a second branch. This type of system exists in countries such as United States of America. So presidential system, where we can see this system, it is there in United States of America. This system is different from the parliamentary form. Yes, we have parliamentary form, so it is different. President system is different from parliamentary system. How it is different? What are the points? We will see. In this system, the president is the executive and is independent of the legislature, and as the head of the state is directly elected by the people. See the main difference. What we have seen here, in parliamentary system we elect the members of parliament, representatives. They go in the parliament, then the winning party will elect the prime minister among from them. Then the prime minister will select all his council of ministers. But in presidential form of government, it is not like that. The president is directly elected by the people. Yes, this is the main difference. Such a system is known as the presidential system of government. Though the three organs are independent from each other, there are enough connections between them to work in harmony, coordination. These three organs, that is legislature, executive, judiciary, are independent, but still they have a coordination among them. The United States of America has adopted the presidential system of government. These are some features of this system of government. Now we are going to look at a few features. See, in a presidential form of government, the legislature and the executive are not directly dependent on each other. Yes, legislature and executive, they are not directly depending on each other. This is the difference. The houses of the legislature and president are directly elected by the people. Here we have seen in our country they are indirectly elected president, but there the president and other members, they are directly elected by the people. The president is the executive head and has lot of powers, including power to implement laws. Yes, in parliamentary system that function we don't have. Then next, in spite of such a structure, the legislature and the executive keep a check on each other. This mutual control over each other can lead to responsible government. Yes, though the president, the head, has all the powers, but still they have made their structure in such a way that legislature and executive can keep a check on each other, because so that they can work smoothly and they can lead a responsible government. Apart from the parliamentary and presidential systems of government, there are other forms of government systems that are followed in France, Switzerland, Germany, etc. Yes, students. So two main governments we have seen, parliamentary system and presidential system. But that doesn't mean other than these two, different kinds of governments are not there. They are there. So yes, we can see the example. Some other kind of government are followed in France, Switzerland and Germany. Several countries, owing to their unique circumstances, have evolved different system of government. Yes, many countries are there in the world, according to their own situation, according to their atmosphere of the country, they have made their own kind of government. So they are different from parliamentary and presidential form of government. In the next chapter, we will study the structure, working and role of the Indian Parliament. Yes, students, what is the structure? How is the working process of Indian Parliament? That we will be looking in next chapter. Till time, everyone, you will read the first chapter thoroughly. Read it silently, and whatever your doubts will be there, you will ask it in next session. So in the next session, we will see the next chapter. Till that time, it is okay. Thank you very much.